Boom.
There was a lovely noise, Jake. We all appreciate it very much. Thank you.
It was very manly.
Did that make it in the live?
I thought I was muted.
Yeah, you. Well, you weren't muted in your. We heard you, but I don't think stream heard you. So.
Okay.
Can you imagine if all of us were muted, they heard nothing, then all they heard was just that. Yeah, you can sign a petition for that, Anno, but you have to spend 100,000 bits to get the petition up. If you drop them all at once, then the petition will go up.
Wait, 100,000 bits for what?
A petition for no RP time for Rearing.
No RP time? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. You guys just keep adding zeros. That's a lot of zeros.
I think 100,000 is fine.
That's a lot.
I mean, it's only for
It's too
the
many
set.
zeros.
That's a lot.
It's too many zeros. All right, moving
That's a
on.
lot.
And Norway's saying, "Don't be mean, Neil. Stop being mean, Neil."
Saying it to Anno.
No, he's fine with Anno. Him and Anno are friends. They play D&D together. He's telling you to stop being mean.
No way. Please refute this man.
Listen, who just killed somebody for doing nothing wrong? Just running a slave operation. Nothing wrong whatsoever. who just did that?
I don't know.
Yeah, see, green is on Anno's side. Green is always on Anno's side. Let's go. So, back home, Ilan, you actually went to the temple to go and collect the so you went to the basement, my apologies, and to like walk around, and you weren't able to pick up any more information on what you did there. But then I believe after that you wanted to go to the temple and the Martyr's Temple to see the staff.
That wasn't what I was planning on doing, but we can do that.
I'm so sorry. Then what did you say?
I was mapping out the basement to try and figure out where, like, the exact.
That's what
spot
you were
would
doing.
be.
I am so dumb. You definitely said that. Could you actually go ahead, and this is just going to be because you don't have like a cartography. Or, actually, do you have a knowledge geography? Or architecture engineering?
No.
Intelligence
Would you take
check.
a history?
I'll take an intelligence check. So guys, my broken monitor, I'm now getting horizontal dead pixel lines. So I have a whole, like, I want to say 20% of my monitor vertically on the right-hand side doesn't work right now for this monitor because I haven't hooked up the new one yet. And now I get a bunch of horizontal, so like column dead pixel lines. It's fun. There's 4 across Tesh's face. So anyways.
I'm in jail.
Yeah, it looks kind of like you're in horizontal prison. It's really funny. So yeah, you with your result there, which I can't see because of the broken monitor, you have a 9.
You don't need to see it.
Do you want to luck that?
I don't know if that's worth lucking. Yeah, I was just trying to map out the basement to figure out where the exact spot where the tree was. When I can just wait for one of you guys to tell me.
I was gonna say I'm surprised you actually haven't asked yet.
Are you there? When I was first doing that, you yourself weren't here, so I wasn't doing that. But
yeah,
I don't.
Gone anywhere.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he
if
hasn't
one's
gone
still
anywhere.
there, if I am struggling, and I will go and like ask if he knows. Oh, why? I had to be
for a
looking
moment.
right at that moment. I would eventually give up trying to map it myself and just go ask one if he knows where it is.
Okay. So it literally takes you a couple of hours to go and find the correct book, so on and so forth. Finally, you go downstairs and you've got like, okay, I got Elliot's description because you know how Elliot writes, and so you're reading this thing and you're like, and finally you're standing like directly in front of like a prison cell, and you're like, okay, nope, and then you fall in again. You're in front of another prison cell. Okay,
I
one
like
more
the
try.
idea of like he like goes to line up. He's got all of this like, okay, if this is here, then that is there, and he goes to line up the first thing, and it's entirely wrong. And it's like, oh, what? Fuck.
So yeah, you eventually go and get Grishka or one, sorry, and you ask him. I don't know if you want to RP this.
Well, you just one. I was trying to look into the basement where the curse was broken. I having trouble finding records of exactly where the tree was. It's all changed a lot, apparently. Would you be able to show me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, we'd head down.
So you guys head down there. And you guys head down there, and while you're down there, you are able to easily kind of like Jake. I mean, you fought for your life down here, but twice you had to come down. It was not a good time. You had to hack through all that stuff. It was again very, very. It takes you a moment because now you're so used to over a year of it being this way. You kind of have to come down here, come down the stairs, turn, open the door, and close your eyes, like as you open the door, or like remember that moment. You gotta remember how you had to walk through, and I'm not saying you keep your eyes closed the entire time. You're not an ass, but you occasionally have to like walk and close your eyes again to picture how things were. That door that you guys had to bust into, remember the vine coming through the wall, so on and so forth. That wall's been knocked down. Within that massive room on the other side, and walking all the way back there, eventually to where the actual tree was. You finally come to a point where you can kind of like kneel down and touch the ground, and actually see like this is where the tree was growing from. This is where we had to hack and burn the entire thing out. This is it. Of course, it looks like stone floor.
He just kind of kneeled down at that spot and placed his hand on it. And then he'd smile to himself, remembering things from long ago. But then he would say, "It was here."
Thank you. As a thing of note, should Jake do a perception check for what I had to do when I walked in here earlier?
Jake, do a perception check. I suppose, yeah, fine. He's like, you have a mess on the floor. You have a mess on the floor? You talking about?
What?
You talking about your mess on the floor? Like all the books and everything that you pulled out?
No, he means that he came in here and had to do a perception check. He's
immediately the first thing
because you were looking for something. He's not looking for that. He just came walk.
Okay, I didn't know if that was this. I thought that might have been something else. Was in here.
You were doing something else. Yeah. So
right,
Jake,
mind,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Or Tesh, sorry. Go ahead. So he points out what the spot is.
Thank you. I assume this has been repaired over. I want to. I'm not entirely sure. Experiment and see if my magic is affected by anything here. I might want to move a couple of the bricks, if that's okay. Well, the stone.
And he's like, "Are you gonna need any help moving them?"
Maybe. We'll see.
Did you need me to stay, or would you prefer I leave and you can call out to me if you need me?
I wouldn't say no to the company.
Okay, I'll stay.
So I'm gonna start just like trying low-level spells near this spot, seeing if the positive ones are more powerful or less powerful. See if I feel any sort of difference around this. And I might even try and see if this spell does anything on the spot, knowing that this area was repaired, not the original castle.
So, you throw in this. I'm sorry, just trying to see what spell this is. Like,
make whole.
Make whole. There it is. So the problem is with make whole fixes broken things.
Yes. What I mean is I'd be using it on the parts of the original keep, not the parts we've repaired ourselves.
Yeah. So you're trying to more or less reform it how it was before.
Yeah, but I'm also just sort of this is him.
See, I get what
experimenting.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. The problem is because it has a new construction, it kind of stands in the way of the old construction being able to be completed, and you have to have the materials there. Not all of them, not 100%, right? Because that would be dumb. But you need to have some of the materials there. Every material that's down here is literally the materials that were used for the original, for the new construction. So as a reminder of the key differences between the new construction and the old one, and this is why I'm making it so
it
difficult.
Doesn't have the metal.
Exactly. It's not the other type of stone. Correct.
Interesting. I wonder if
like marbling.
I wonder if we had the metal and like we could use this to essentially reweave the metal through the areas that we've repaired with our own brick.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting. Anyway, the other thing I was doing is I'd be testing the positive spells and seeing if they had any sort of like impact on areas, seeing if I can also feel a difference in this spot versus other places in the keep.
So this place, I mean, as you're trying to like feel that out, as you're trying to, you can roll me another perception check, but again, it's one of those, cast that one spell, you don't notice a difference, but you were also asking about other spells. When you use spells of positive energy, you notice that they do seem to have a spike here. When you use spells of negative energy, do you have spells of negative energy?
I don't believe so. I've only got fire ones. Oh, would Death Watch be one?
That's not negative energy, no.
Okay, then
that's
no,
the ability to watch somebody's
so.
positive energy leaving or being infused with negative energy. Anyways, you kind of like looking about, trying to get a good feel of the place. You can't tell if there's a difference here than elsewhere. It's almost imperceptible if there's anything there.
Okay, but okay. So knowing that there is a little bit of a spike in my positive energy one, that's interesting enough to note. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else I'd want to know till Rayron gets back to see if he has any effect there.
I mean, you can call Rayron. He's just in the other keep. He's just in the other keep.
I guess that's true. Yeah, he's just in the other keep, but it's going to be days, not. Yeah, okay, then I guess I'd.
Hey, Rayron. Yeah, come here. Okay. What's that? I'm gonna have Rayron back in the Western Keep for something interesting soon. But first, I want you to go and get him. You can bring him back, and you can explain him. Feel free to RP if you'd like to. What it is that you're doing.
Hi, there's a spot here that where the tree used to be. It has a spike in positive energy. I want to see if you have any spells that are negative energy based that have any effect here.
You know, negative and positive energy isn't really my thing. I tend to work with elements like electricity.
Huh.
Let's see. He literally gets out his spell book and starts flicking through the pages. Let's see. And
I imagine is that long, slow finger to the tongue drag.
It'd be like this is like literally something that wouldn't have like occurred to Ilan because he still doesn't. He forgets that that's how magic works normally.
Yeah, when you're not a special character. Just remember, everybody in chat, if you ever want a better character, just have your character kill himself because that's something that we all enjoy suffering through.
Well, considering the first one was my first ever Pathfinder character ever.
Hey, listen, I understand making Pathfinder characters make you contemplate. You know what I'm saying? But
it is a long process, and there's like it's all right. Just when you start, you're like, oh, it's going really well. You get to feats.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Are we talking about waiting for you to pick your spell?
Oh god.
Yeah, when you get to like choosing spells and feats, it's like, and so let's click this list and.
But now you understand why us long-term D&D people are like 5e feats are garbage. There's like 3 of them, and they all suck.
I agree. There's like 3 really good ones, or maybe 5 really good ones.
There's like 35, 40, and there's several really good ones. I agree, but the problem is there are like also 15 that you would just never take unless it really fit a niche concept.
It's so good. Like, why would you bother taking the others?
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't think Rayron does have anything that uses negative energy.
Interesting. Oops.
Yeah, but Green, you're a weird 5e player. You're like, damn the mechanics. I want to play my niche concept, which again, I do that as well. But that doesn't work with all DMs, all groups, all this, all that. It's very unusual.
I'm gonna take this feat, and it's gonna buff my wisdom up to 17.
Like, what's the feat that gives you like 3 weapon proficiencies, and you're like, you couldn't give me them all? Like 1 feat, you couldn't just give me them all. You give me like 3 or 4 or whatever. That's it. Just 3 or 4. I couldn't have them all. I'm sacrificing +2 strength, and I can't get them all. I guess I'll level dip, douche. You know, like it's so it's so frustrating. Like, there's some garbage feats.
It's specifically negative energy. Closest thing I'd have, I guess, would be like chill touch, but that is not explicitly negative energy, so it's not.
If it's necrotic.
Oh no. Chill touch is negative.
There you go. Look at that. He finds one. So now who are you gonna cast it on?
I don't have it prepared.
All right, you have to do that.
It's one of those things like, yeah,
yes, yeah. Here's
I can do it tomorrow.
Chill touch allows me to channel negative energy. And he closes the book.
Well, I mean, aren't you going to try it?
I mean, I'd have to rememorize it. This morning, each morning I try to, I don't always change them, but I can attempt to memorize a variety of different spells. You don't think I remember all of these? He flicks through the pages like there's pages and pages.
Ilan looks to one. Do you do that as well?
No, he can't read.
Chuckles a little bit. So funny.
Interesting.
I have
To be
an
fair,
extra
he didn't
spell.
learn
I just cast Bone Shaker on Raren.
Let's not do inter-party combat.
I would never.
That's only fun for chat, okay?
Ilan would just say, I didn't understand how your magic works. I forget that there's different types of magic. This is all new.
Arcane casters, i.e. myself, and others, you may hear them refer to themselves as savants, wizards, hedges, magi. We require a more practical approach to magic. Our power comes through study, through learning. Each one of us will carry, for example, I have a book. That is what was opted for in my academy. Many places do not necessarily force this. There are a variety of ways to recall them, as long as you have the ability to, understand what it is you've written.
Huh. I must admit, the idea of the full understanding of all of your magic is appealing. But I also appreciate the drawbacks that come with that style as well.
I have an amount of magic power, but to use it, I require to say the correct words in the correct order, make the correct signs, use the correct items. That is how my magic works.
Thank you. And we can come test this out again when you can cast it then.
Suppose we could try tomorrow morning then.
Sounds good.
And now it's tomorrow morning. Yep, I've had my tea. Actually, Pride Tea. Oh, I want to do it because it's such an awesome one. Pride Tea. Where are you?
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
I know. I need to get Pride Tea. I don't
Van
have Pride
Sexel
Tea.
gave it to me. Thank you, Van Sexel. Oh, I'm so happy.
Stop.
I need to find a way to get some Pride Tea.
Listen, I'm drinking a cup of Pride, coffee because I'm an adult right now. So, what?
Leave it alone, Neil. Leave it alone.
Just don't even get into that.
Don't even. It gets worse if you. Yeah, don't.
Okay. You're right. Okay, Boomer.
So you want to talk about how the language you're speaking right now is American? Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So anyways, you are next morning. You come back. You cast that spell. Who do you cast it on? Because you actually have to cast it on somebody to feel its results. You can't just be like, I cast the spell.
Oh, if that's the case, then Ilan would volunteer himself, knowing that he can heal himself.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, he 100% would.
You realize this will sap you of your life force.
Well, it's okay. Out of character, I myself have forgotten what Chill Touch
It
does.
eats strength.
Oh no, that's fine. I can restore
It's not
that.
going to be incredibly powerful because rather than being like Shocking Grasp where it just punches you, it like strokes you multiple times. You get multiple strokes at one cast.
So yeah, no, he would be he would be okay with that. He can restore it.
If you insist.
Okay. So, I mean, you reached out and you touched him. You don't have to worry about the actual touch attack because you're just doing it. And you did the whopping each 1d6. I don't know why there's a d4 on the screen. Weird. So you're going to roll 1d6 strength.
It says
points of damage, sorry.
1d4 down the bottom.
Oh, no, that's right. That's the rounds. Gotcha. I get it. I was like, why? Wait, because you have to scroll down to see it. Anyways, so you don't even have to roll that. It's cool. You actually feel that it's a much sharper, because he's just going to heal in 2 seconds. You actually feel that it's much, much sharper than it was prior, but I actually need to double check one thing really quickly. This is actually super important.
It's a crit. Ilan dies.
So sorry.
Oh, what are you doing?
I just need to check something.
This is where my lack of gear comes in handy because I know what you're checking. Oh shit! I read what you're checking.
Yep, that's what I thought. So some also the risk they keep 42 stays recover. Okay, that's recovery.
Okay, that's not too bad. That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, because vulnerability such. Oh, it's vulnerability such as. Oh, it says that right here too.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. No, so that means double. Yeah. Okay, Neil, actually roll me a favor. This is actually going to be pretty intense. I do apologize.
Wait.
First and foremost, the damage that you do is plus 1 point of strength. So it does 1d6 damage, but that doesn't change based off of your level or anything, right? So Neil, instead, because this doesn't do that, you're going to roll me 2d6, but 2d6 damage is what you do to him.
Oh my god.
But then you're going to multiply that by 2, so he takes 12. And then Tesh, I need you to make me that fortitude save. But you make that fortitude save with a -4. We can
This is
manually.
like the worst person to do this to.
We can manually do the math.
Okay, so fortitude. There it is.
Oh yeah.
So the -4 off of that, it's a 15, which just barely makes it. So we don't see the other part. So you reach out, and your touch is by far more effective than it ever has been before. You literally feel it sapping the life out of Ilan's character. Like rot, this is the life out of you, mate. And then it actually does.
So it's one of those things where like he originally planned to like just use a healing spell almost on sort of instinct as it like hits a lot harder than Ilan was expecting. He throws off a channel energy. 13. Good. Okay.
So you luckily are able to just like heal it back. How does Rayrin react?
Aaron looks at his hand, flexes his gloved hand a couple of times, still glowing faintly, because that's how Chill Touch works. You see him like shake off the energy, dispel it.
Oh, that felt like it hit. Because have I seen you use that before?
No.
No. That spell was a lot more powerful than I was expecting.
Yes. It did feel more potent.
It also felt not just more potent. It also felt very effective. To be clear.
It's almost like the effect of you casting it was more, and then the effect on me was more than you'd normally expect. But yeah, he would just. I think that's a good sign that this area is what I thought. I got a spike in positive energy here as well when I cast it near the spot where you are, this center.
So this area is a locus for both positive and negative energy.
I'm not entirely sure how far it spreads, if it's just that spot or we just don't know the right way of harnessing it outside of this spot. But yes.
Interesting.
At this point, I'm actually going to have, while you guys are there, you actually feel the presence of a divine creature approaching before you can even see it or hear it. Just feel it coming. For one of you, it feels nice and emboldening. You feel warm and safe and happy. It's rejoiceful. For one of you, you definitely feel safe. You feel companionship. Though, not quite the warmth and kindness. And for another, you immediately are just covered with just one of those things where, like, all of a sudden you realize, like, breathing becomes hard. You just start feeling, like, a little off. You'd almost feel like tears, like just like your tear ducts themselves almost feel like they're kind of like filling up just a little bit. You're just thrown off just ever so slightly. And then you realize you have this hardness of breath, and you kind of like look around to the other two, and you see that one of them kind of has this like happy smile, and the other is also, everybody's bringing their attention towards the stairwell coming down. And that's, of course, when you notice, as you have beforehand, the Movanic Deva walking down the stairs and walking in. The wings haven't been tucked away because keeping the wings out while being inside of a castle can be a little obstructive. So wings tucked away as they come walking down and across.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Right. Have a Matt Damon, Ben Affleck moment. So anyways, comes walking in. Stands, I don't know if anybody says anything. You wait for the Deva to speak first.
Hi.
Did you say hi? Is that it?
Yeah.
Hi.
Sort of like a confused hi.
Mm-hmm. He says, hello. I have cleared the area of many of the undead. I have destroyed them and allowed their souls to return to rest. It seems as though this land is covered with an incredible amount of them, all within its borders. Most that have gone beyond the borders probably were destroyed by the locals thereabout. The most densely populated areas were between these rivers. We have been able to eliminate almost all of them in the middle of the rivers, making the area quite safe. The next most densely populated area was far to the east and south. It seems as though they have been destroyed as well. I will not say that this problem has been solved, but has been brought down to a mortal, manageable status.
Thank you. Just looking at the others, like not knowing what to say.
Yep.
I look to Aaron and speak out aloud. I'll just be like, who took out the ones to the southeast?
Was that not where the Perrin? I know the title, but I'm forgetting it. I'm forgetting it. I literally didn't hear what you said because it was weirdly cut out.
Cadus.
Cadus, yes.
Well, Cadus, the Commander Cadus, and the what's it called, a Maltese soldier, Elijah, as well as the other Perrin woman.
Not going to do anything.
Is that not where they were heading?
It is. I don't see how they alone wiped out so many. I thought we also had a report of Perrin soldiers seen in that area at some stage.
Yes, there was. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait, they're along the border, but not actually coming in by any stretch of the imagination. You also had report of
The only
parents
report
close
of
to the
parent
north.
has been the one to the north.
Yeah.
Okay. My mistake then. Perhaps that mage was more powerful than we realized.
I don't think so. They've only been gone for not even a week.
Oh.
It's been over a week.
We should.
Oh.
Still, I don't think it'd be enough time to clear out a lot of undead.
It's worth looking into then.
Yeah, we should definitely have somebody check the area. We have people with them, so hopefully they can report in at some point.
Indeed.
And then almost if realizing that the angel's still there.
Are you saying that your duty has been completed?
I believe the task here is done. You should be able to manage it moving forward. There are many boundaries that I must watch. Many boundaries. Ah! Now I remember what the mentor wanted to talk to you about.
Fucking hell. This is really delayed.
God damn it, it just clicked. Many boundaries that need to be addressed. One's beyond this world.
Was it about boundaries?
Don't forget. God.
In that case, I presume you will be leaving us.
Yes.
I would echo the Chosen of the Hearth sentiment of thanks.
You said Chosen of the Hearth sentiment? Oh, gotcha. Yep. He says, indeed, you have an opportunity here, Chosen. You have backing unlike most mortals in all of mortal history have. Take this opportunity. Do with it what you can to bring good to this world. Leave behind the stains of one's past, he says, and you can imagine whose eyes his fall upon, right? Stains of one's past. And work to transition, as his eyes look over to one, to make a brighter future where opportunities are unchained. Bring hope to your people. As he looks over to Ilan, bring hope to your people. That way they can follow in suit, follow by your example. You have an opportunity here. The world is changing. It needs guidance. It needs leadership. Not, and again, one more time, condemnation. And, once again, you can just feel, it almost feels like the cracking of a whip. And she's just like, oh God, this is not a pleasant experience. You like literally doing what you can to not have beads of sweat forming on your head, which just
Rayron's sweating.
Yeah, it's just because you can't stop it.
There's also like an anger in his eyes.
Sure.
If this was an anime, every time the angel like looked in Raymond's direction, it's like shing with like the bright light.
Oh, hold on. Anime drop. Anyways, so yeah, you or sorry, and his face turns blue with like the dark lines over it. So anyways, he says with that he does. I don't think he needed to say anything else. I don't know if your character say anything else.
Yes, let's do our best to avoid further condemnation. He looks at him this time. Like before, he's been doing the sort of Pippin, Gandalf's telling you off, look down, but this time he looks him in the eye like, fuck you. Okay.
You can see, it's one of those things, you guys can roll an insight check. Sense motive. Because of course the DC's high because he's not a creature of this world, so you need like a high result to be able to get a reading off of a
And he's super
angel.
stoic.
Oh my God.
I did consider shaking his hand with the devil hand.
So So my apologies.
Your arm just ignites.
Is Ilan happy with that 24? Because you have the highest one. The cylinder I'm asking. Do you want to luck that?
Oh, what do you think, guys? Or is this a throwaway one? Because we can probably guess how he's feeling.
Yeah, it might be a throwaway, but I say do whatever you want, man.
I mean, you're not going to get another chance. This angel's going bye-bye.
That's a good point. Yeah, fuck it. Let's learn what this angel really thinks.
Okay.
26.
So you actually realize, you get the moment, you actually see it. There's a moment where the angel actually, his hand moves, like, we're talking half an inch towards the sword as he's giving the thing. It's one of those things that the angel is like ready to strike down the pragmatic person before him. But it's one of those, it's not his job to do that. This kind of angel is literally brought into being for one very specific task: to balance the divide between the positive and negative planes, and to make sure there's not too much overspill, if any overspill, into the material plane. That is literally why this creature was brought into being. And even if it sees extreme cases of pragmatism in front of it, it can't necessarily act upon that, because that would be too pragmatic, right? So it stays its hand and then walks past you into the exact spot where you were just trying to like do your research or whatever beforehand. And as it's walking there, you can literally see, again, the fabric of reality starts to like almost like a broken pixel, another broken pixel. And then it starts to look like my monitor with all the lined up fucking, and just like it rips open and he just steps through. But as he steps through, unlike last time where Nathan noticed where he stepped through into, he doesn't step through into a bathing of warmth and light and so on and so forth. What it actually opens up into is a plane of darkness, a plane of almost like shadowy darkness that's kind of eeping through, where you can see almost like the darkness itself moves and twists. As he's stepping through into it, you can see he draws his sword and it starts to ignite in flame. But despite the fact that it's lighting up with fire, the darkness of that plane does not allow it to actually shed any light, allowing you to get no actual reading any further. Neil, when this happens, when you're standing there and witnessing this happen, the amount of energy that you are bathed in, that just comes pouring out of this fissure, is absolutely ridiculous. You can feel just like, it feels right. It feels good. It feels correct to you. Does your character react in any way whatsoever, or does he just stand there?
Rayron's already like peering at this because he's like, is this like when Nankaro's from, or like, so he's already peering because he's interested in planes. He's learned more over the past few weeks about elemental planes, but we haven't learned much about positive, negative, angels, devils, that sort of thing. So he's already like peering, and then when this washes over him, it's like when you open an oven, he like puts his arm up and sort of recoils, and then takes a step forward towards it, as he's drawn, like it's like too hot. And then even though it's so hot, the pizza is in the oven, and you need to get it. You need it, and he's going for it.
He's going to try to get
like
it.
Two or three steps towards it, like reaching out to touch it.
Sure. Why don't you make me a reflex save to see if you can get your hand there in time?
You think not?
Do you want to modify that roll there, sir? You have 2 left in the luck pool. I mean, so close to that savory 20.
I feel like if you do, you're losing a hand.
No.
Does the devil arm?
Oh.
Okay. So you reach in, you try to grab through, you try to touch it, you try to get some degree of it. I don't even need to make you roll, Jake. You're just so incredibly perceptive. We can see whether or not Ilan can see too, because he's terrible perception, so probably not. You can literally see as he quickly takes a quick step forward and reaches out to like touch into it. You actually notice that the plane almost seems to like reach out to touch back to him. Even though he's not able to get his hands to cross through the boundary to actually get to the other side, there's a moment, a split second, where literally the plane touches to his finger. And you're actually going to learn a new spell there, Neil. Give me a second to look up the name of the spell because it takes a minute. Yeah.
Damn it. I didn't think you would come back. I should have been with Nathan when he came through.
If only.
Illin's just gonna set up shop in this room, just like he's gonna come through eventually. I'm gonna get a new spell.
Get it. I want magic.
Need to find an entry to the salt plane.
To the what plane?
The salt plane.
Oh, so it's in the water temple. Okay, you have to go find Katara and make friends with her. So long
as she doesn't bloodbend, we're good.
But by the way, oh god, I just watched that. That's literally the last episode I watched. So what was I saying? Did you guys see what's that person's name? The new member of the community and was posting in chat the other day, or is it yesterday, about like the brine lakes at the bottom of the ocean?
Yes.
Did you see those awesome videos? It's literally like lakes of salt water at the bottom of the ocean. And you can literally watch like the car. I was like, this is so good. At like 3 a.m. last night when I should probably go to sleep. I'm like, what is this?
I love
underwater currents are fucking
ocean
cool.
Ocean science in general, whether it be biology or any. I love all of that.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? It's so alien to us.
It's
funny
so amazing.
It's literally what I
ocean,
wanted to go to
and I
school
hate
for.
it.
I literally wanted to go to school for that because I was inspired by a teacher whose name was Miss Scott, and she was my D&D teacher advisor back in the day. I wanted to do what she did, but I ended up not because of X-ray.
I almost actually went for marine biology because of a teacher. He got me so like into it.
Yeah, the ocean is so incredibly cool, but it's also so terrifying, and I am mortified of it.
Oh, it's so vastly terrifying, but at the same time, like it's just a different world.
If I could explore it in the safety of knowing I'm perfectly safe and I'm away from it, like remotely, then I'd love to.
That's part of what makes it so amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't even play Subnautica. Like that game is just terrifying.
There's a reason we know more about space than the ocean, and it's because it's so dangerous. The pressure.
Yep. Neil.
I will not kneel, sir.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what the spell is later on. That doesn't matter because I've got it pulled up. I just gotta make sure I read it right. So, anyways, you guys, kind of you feel that, and you feel this like wash come over you. Like it's like you actually feel like it completely takes over. You can feel a ripple of energy. The two of you actually see like so to you, Neil, you feel invigorated, but what you guys see is he looks like exhausted. Like this thing must have stolen his strength from him, must have harmed him in some way because of like how quickly it kind of washed over him, almost like because you felt yourself stumble back a couple steps and fall down. You see like he was clearly hit by something hard. Neil, even though it was exhausting to you, again, you feel invigorated on the inside. It's just hard to portray that. How do the two of you react as he's taking several moments to even kind of like gather his thoughts because he was just hit with such an incredible amount of energy?
I just immediately are you okay? What happened?
It takes him a few moments to even be able to respond.
I just silently watch.
Jake, ever the voyeur. Anything else, Tash?
No, he would just be like sitting there ready to like cast a healing spell or anything, just waiting for a response.
Okay.
If you look like you're about to do something, I would just put my hand up.
He wouldn't do it without like
so like a good 15 20 seconds pass before he's able to like get his words out again because of how much of a system overload it was, how much of like a shock it was to him. Finally, Neil, you can
turn it off and on again.
I'm not sure. I reached out for it, and it reached out for me. It felt exhilarating. Right. It felt positive.
There would be a little chuckle from Illin. Just there'd be like full concern, chuckle. Oh God, no! Back to concern. Well, I think that answers the theory, at least. That's definitely the negative plane.
I think so. like nothing else.
Makes sense.
I think it might be a good idea to make sure this area is separated from the rest, or at least marked down, so that
This is
destruction doesn't happen on it.
holy ground. The blessings of the martyr and the arbiter reside in this place. For those of the faithful, they will feel it. I agree that we should preserve it.
Well, that was a lot more than I was expecting to get out of experimenting here. That's for sure.
You should be careful if you intend to conduct any further experiments.
No, I think I'm done. I think that I wanted to see if the moat for light and for the positive and negative were here. And I don't think I need to question that anymore.
My question is, if there are elementals that correspond to each other moat, where are the elementals that correspond to these?
That's a good point. I mean, we've only found what the water was the the other one you found.
Yes.
So there's at least earth and air out there, I imagine.
Yes,
It
but
could
that's not what I
be-
mean. There must surely be a positive and negative elemental that sustains this moat.
I wonder if those areas are considerably larger in their effect. I wonder if that's the elemental doing. Elementals doing. Whether it would be like this, a small area otherwise. But I think you're right. It'd be good to look into it if we can, at least.
If you'll excuse me, I think I might return to my chambers. I'm a little
If
tired.
that's fair.
You guys leave once again with one just standing there watching. I imagine one is like that kid in Hey Arnold that kind of like.
His name's like Brainy or something like that.
I don't know. He was weird. Anyway, so you guys eventually kind of go upstairs and hey, guess what? General's back. Dun, 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 hail the conquering heroes.
Boy, did you miss some shit.
He walks in and he's happy to be home. Chosen.
Ilan like almost answers. No, not yet.
Rayron always has his mouth full, either food or words. Nothing's changed, I see.
Nope.
Words are hungry business, and I use a lot of them.
We've noticed. Fortunately, I have used a lot as well. Things are going to go well for us. In case you didn't get the full breadth of the message that I had delivered beforehand, I did as you had requested, Chosen, and I had gone to the Northern Keep. There I had met with the commander in charge. As you are fully aware, Chosen, he says, looking to one, Cadus was the one that had become the in charge by situation, by circumstance. He chose to, well, he's going to take commands and he's going to take them out of there, but he's not going to be able to do so until he actually heads north and out. He doesn't know how long that'll be because he intended to go south and to east into the borders from the message that was sent north afterwards. So he is going to be heading into Paradel shortly, but as soon as he leaves Idir for good, he's going to take the troops out of the keep and leave it behind completely. It is in his rights to do so. He is a commander, and they have no command. I say we just leave it at be. They'll aid us in the destruction of undead along this area, and we'll be fine.
I'm pleased that we will not have to come to blows with your ex-compatriots.
I wouldn't say ex-compatriots. I actually have a lot of goodwill towards Adis. He was one of my finest pupils. In my past life, I was not just a commander for the Peridot military. I also trained some of the finest commanders that still serve in their military and that still do their best to uphold all the good ideals that Peridot has to offer. Now, unfortunately, sometimes they fall under the command of people that we might disagree with, but that doesn't change the fact that they will take the finest approach they possibly can in bringing success to their lands. These are people that you can trust. I do miss the teachings that I used to do back then. It was, it's difficult finding people that you can mold the right way. So many upstarts you find in the military. Lots of bluster, not much brains.
Have you considered trying to teach members of our military?
We haven't had time. But I have, in fact, contemplated it, he says, looking at Patreon.
Fingers crossed. When things settle down, it would be a nicer thing for you to spend your time on. I pray that we will not always need you as Leon Jaeger the general, but perhaps Leon Jaeger the teacher.
I look forward to one day being able to rest my sword on a mantle, allowing it to stay there until some great-grandchild or beyond chooses to pick it up and carry on the family honor. But until that day, serve, and I'll serve well.
You're going to need to find a wife if that's the case.
He doesn't have any children, I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
He has to find a young wife.
At that at that sort of awkward moment, just we were able to acquire the Slumbering Queen's help with the dozen or so healers you requested. That they will be ready within the week of the time that I said that it was.
I appreciate you doing this for me, Ilan.
Nathan's not here. I mean, Nathan also helped.
That's perfectly fine. The both of you. I appreciate you doing this. It's important that our soldiers survive to enjoy the peace that we're bringing to our lands. I believe the next task was for me to see to it that the men had finished resting and then to head west. Orvin, they're in much need of aid, correct?
No, that's pretty much due south, for the record.
South end.
It is
west.
actually, yeah.
It's both?
Obviously, I don't say that.
It's actually not. It's like
Is it
pretty
not?
much exactly.
Oh my god,
south.
it's almost completely south. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, yeah, 5 miles west, but let's be serious. You're actually traveling it's like 45 miles south, 5 miles. Get over yourself, buddy. My apologies. And I'll travel south.
We should probably have food brought with you if we can spare it. Last time you said the people there were desperate. They probably are again.
I'll bring whatever aid we can muster. Anything that we can bring together. We need to shore up these cities. We've discussed in previous meetings the importance of making sure that everybody in Central Idir sees to us as allies, sees to us as aid. So perhaps they can come to us in the future.
If we were to send the army there, how many men, women do you think you would have to leave to make the city safe again?
Once the place is cleared out, I would definitely need to leave some behind. We know about the effects of these undead. They seem to regather where they've already been cleared out. I honestly would think it might be a good idea just to hold Central Idir. We would go to Forvin. We would leave some behind. and then we really need to investigate Vigil. So whether it be the Chosen investigate Vigil themselves and then call to arms to aid them in the future, or if I leave behind some men and go there myself, we need our soldiers more on those lines than we do back home. From what I understand, he says... I'm sorry?
I said I will check out Vigil.
He'll nod.
If I'm not wrong, I believe we have someone investigating metals that would greatly help in dealing with the unique situation with Vigil, the specters, right?
Then it's a good thing that we are going to be going to Forvin first. Buy whoever this is a little bit more time to finish their investigation. I don't think we need our soldiers back home. I say this because, from what I understand, and he actually looks to looks to all of you and says, we have an angelic being here to provide a degree of security for us. And I'll actually look to Rayron and say, I'm glad to hear that decisions our nation has been making has changed the view of the world beyond ours. Calling back, of course, to the end of last season.
It would seem that our angelic protector's job here is done. He believes the lands around Kurzfall to be mostly safe. I should imagine Kithel and the guards will be able to make short work of any stragglers that enter the territory. I would agree that the soldiers are needed more elsewhere. Besides, the Chosen will be in residence here, and if needs be, we can defend our people.
He suggested that the major epicenters of the undead are mostly dealt with, so hopefully that means their numbers are dwindling. I would also recommend, General, with Harrod, in terms of keeping the undead away from Harrod, it might be best to lure the undead out of Forvin before killing them. They seem to amass where they were killed, as you said.
Luring them is going to be rather difficult, but not necessarily a bad plan. Do we have an idea of what it is that could lure them? I imagine dressing up a pig in a hula skirt will not do the trick.
Would it, in my experience with Harrod, was there anything that would have been to me to show them to attract the more than other situations? Like, don't know.
If there's a large food source, they're going to go for the food source.
Are they affected by sound much?
I mean, that'll catch their attention.
Well, I mean, simply try not to sneeze.
Sneezing's good. I like sneezing. I like it.
Because it's a head rush.
Yeah.
I don't like doing it on stream, though.
I love it.
I like sneezing. I don't like doing it on stream.
Yeah, right? You feel so clean. I got a big nose, you know?
Anyway, would if the entire sort of army hit shields or something within like a rhythmic sort of sense, would that like create enough noise to attract them?
I understand what you're trying to say. We could try to catch their attention, allow them to slowly come to us, back up our lines in a slow forward-facing retreat, and to pull them to us. So as their numbers gather, we back up further and further and cause the battle to happen there. The problem with that is twofold. One, the people there will see us coming to their aid, and instead of aiding them, standing outside. They would inevitably understand, but that wouldn't change the fact that they could be bittered moving forward, see us as cowards rather than acting when they need it. And two, if they do choose to amass, even if it's 5 miles outside the town, the problem is we would be less likely to notice this in the future. If they amass outside the town immediately, we can react because we see it.
You are correct. I apologize.
He says, no, it's important as I'm not sure if you found yourself a position here in our home. It's important that you understand that collaborative efforts are going to be what brings us victory. Not just this day, but all days moving forward.
Tell the general, Ilan.
Are you coming with me? The hero of Herod might be a good ally on the front lines.
Indeed it would. And a good way to prove yourself, should you think you're worthy to be chosen for this mission.
One moment. Pause. Hold that pause.
Just a sense motive.
Hold that pause. Keep holding. Come on, roll 20. There we go.
Dude.
And oh wow, that's kind of garbage. He's not good at that.
Oh, it roll. Oh.
He didn't pick it up.
Ilan would. Well, in general, I am willing to come help with this. But what what Raren is alluding to is, it has come to light that I am the new chosen of the hearth. Oh, chosen of the martyr.
Martyr has spoken to Ilan. I've seen what remains of Valrin within him. One is in agreement. So, I believe, was our angelic protector.
You wish to fill Valrin's boots.
I will try my hardest.
Then I would not just hope for. I would actually request you're coming with me on this task. I think there's much that we can discuss.
There'd be that sort of hesitation, but not in like he doesn't want to go, just like trying to figure out what to say, and then just, I would be honored to accompany you, and I would be glad to aid in whatever way I can. This is at least one area I know I'm proficient in.
He looks to the other two and says,
motive, Leon.
Go ahead. He looks to the other two, by the way. You can imagine he's just trying to, like, as he asks this question, and of course you can respond, Jake. Actually, you know what? I'll let you, based off your response.
Oh.
32 cents motive. You know that Leon clearly is not very happy with how things ended last season. And his only faith, he explicitly said this in that long conversation you guys had, the only person that he felt was innocent of all matters was Val, but only because of Val's ignorance, not because of Val's innocence. And so you can get the impression he wants to get a good read of this person and have a nice long conversation to find out what direction this nation's going in. Because remember, he's kind of only staying around right now for the safety of the people. He's not staying for you. Same as Kithel. He said, I'm only staying right now for the safety of the people. I'm not really staying for you guys right now because they weren't happy. But things have been going well. So you get very quickly a read off of that. Unless you respond, he looks at the two of you and says, is this official? Should I be treating Ilan as a chosen?
Ilan's official ascension will be held a day or two from now.
I'm not worried about the people. I'm worried about in regards of my treating my superior.
If you wish to start treating him as a chosen from now, then you're welcome to.
Okay.
If not, Ilan might appreciate the opportunity to get to know you more as a person before you treat him as such. He is unfamiliar.
Do me a favor. That was actually, I did not expect you to go that direction. Roll a diplomacy check. Nice.
Oh.
When he rolls, it's better. So I rolled one check for you earlier. You were on a call. So, anyways, so you, and you did well. So he actually says, you can see that he probably wasn't going that direction. Again, one probably gets a good read off of this. He probably wasn't thinking that, and he actually looks to Rayron, and he gives like a small nod. He's relatively stoic, but you can see it's an appreciative nod because you know him pretty well now. And he looks at Ilan and says, actually, that would be a good thing. I intended to march out tomorrow morning, but if your ascension is happening 2 days from now, we should stick around for that and leave the morning afterwards. And this gives us time to get to know one another. Would you be comfortable with that?
Absolutely. I'd be glad of the opportunity.
Then I look forward to spending time with you. Now, I am weary from the road. I am old. My bones ache. And my lids are barely staying open. I wish to bathe, very much so, and to rest this evening. Perhaps we can get to know each other better tomorrow.
Sounds good. I think it's time I procure some proper armor if I'm going to be joining you, rather than wearing this into battle again.
He'll look to the other two, say, chosen, then look to you and say, Ilan. He'll do his appropriate salute, and which you guys never decided what the salute is of this nation, and he will turn and leave. Now, he leaves or whatever. It's actually today that we're going to have Nathan showing back up with Elliot. So a few hours later, unless there's anything you guys need to say to one another.
Hold on. Borders.
You need to have that conversation. Oh yeah, you would have that conversation with your leader band. So after you guys had your like fun time of party, you actually would have a conversation with your mentor. So you probably didn't think much on what it was that he had told you beforehand. After that, thank you, Will. After that, what he had said, because you were drinking and having fun and laughing and watching Elliot try to dance is hilarious. He's terrible, but funny enough, actually, when you saw him trying to teach other people, like, no, let me teach you one. He's actually teaching other people some dances that he knows. He's actually like a really good teacher at it. It was actually pretty cool. And so he like you got to see this like fun little blend of how he like laughed and joked, and he blended in with the people beautifully well. Like it's one of those things where I don't mean to come off as a negative thing, because this certainly is an insult, but he kind of comes off as like a chameleon where he blends into people very, very well. I don't know if you remember, but somebody I used to date a long time ago, all my friends and family referred to her as the chameleon. I don't know if you remember that. No, don't worry about it. Anyways, it was one of those things where I was like, oh. Moving on. So he blends in with them very, very well. And so you the next day when you go in and actually speak to your mentor, it's one of those things again, pleasantries, so on and so forth, and did you have fun? Oh, of course I did. I had my fair share of drink. Believe you me. But the herbs that grow in this land are quite potent. So you Ilan's happy, you know. So he when he meets with you, he goes, I wanted to speak a little bit further of what we had discussed beforehand. I explained to you the boundaries between this world and the next worlds, and the connection between them. How it is that when you're born, your soul is almost predestined to go to a different location, and it eventually makes its way there unless circumstance causes a slight alteration to that. But what I didn't describe to you was something that we've discovered recently. Nathan, us elders, we don't just lead the people. We also lead a group of elementals. Not on this plane, of course, but on the next. We have a communication with them. When we taught you at a young age to call to them, these aren't random beings that come to you. The names that you learn and discover, these are all from a group that we speak to beyond this world, in their worlds. These are allies. Think of it as its own little nation or tribe that we have alliances with. It's how we've been able to glean so much over the years, over the generations. But something has changed. There used to be a degree of balance that existed between the other planes and the other worlds. That balance in the past few months has been disrupted. The way that things move, the way that things flow have been disrupted. I don't understand how or why. I don't know if it's in relation to this ascension that you were talking about. I don't know if it's because of these positive or negative, these polar planes that you're talking about. But there's a certain flow that exists, a handshake or understanding between the different gods. And it seems stunted. It seems almost constipated. And we don't know how it is to continue that flow, how it is to lend aid. The strangest part is, while it's unnatural, while things aren't working the way that they're supposed to, this actually is not necessarily a bad thing. This hasn't hurt our people, our allies in the plane of fire, air. They're not weakened by this. As a matter of fact, we've heard reports that their numbers have actually grown, that their plane has swelled, as opposed to being harmed. But there's still unnerving happening there as the flow is disrupted. Do you have any idea what this might be?
Honestly, no.
And I imagine if I spoke to this Elliot, that he would not have much information for me. Well,
There's a chance he does, but honestly, from what I've gathered, he wouldn't know either.
I would rather keep this kind of information between us. This is information for you to contemplate, maybe discover with time.
He'll agree.
Work never knows when my days off are, so they just take time. So, nods. Then I suppose it's another thing for you to think about. He stops for a second, and he stops for a second. You can see he's kind of like looking down and away. Roll a sense motive.
Ooh, I'm good at that. Oh, come on, open up. Oh, I'm on the wrong page too. What the hell? Sense motive.
Holy
How's a 30?
shit! You know this look, though you don't always pick it up because I mean, he's a wise old man, and his wrinkles kind of cover up his different tells and whatnot. But you know this look of his. He knows more than what he's sharing with you. But as a mentor, it's his job to always give you knowledge to discover more. That's what he always has done. He's kind of like hung carrots in front of you to gather more. You get the impression that he knows more, even if it's a little bit or a lot, whatever it is, more than he's saying. And you can, but more important than that, you can see, whereas usually usually has almost like a little bit of a coyness to him, like, good, have this, now go I gave you crumbs, learn to make bread. You know what I mean? In this, you can see that he's almost like, he knows more, and he's struggling with himself as to whether or not he should even share more with you. Because, I mean, honestly, he may have given you too much, even just in this past 2 days. So you can see there's like a struggle. Go ahead.
I will say, I'm not a child anymore. I can discover things on my own, yes. But the more information I have, the bigger the things I can discover.
Roll a persuasion or diplomacy check, or whatever it is. And before you do this, because I know this is important to you, I will say, if anybody wants to give him Winifred's wisdom, because he does not have one, I will give 10 seconds for somebody to pop one at him really quickly if you'd like.
Do it! Do
7.
it now! Get in the chopper! Do it now!
Nathan is
2,
leveling up.
1. Aklo, always there with a win. Aklo is giving it to you. You get a +5 for this check. You can throw it under temp.
All right.
And then you can roll your die, sir.
Yep. All right. Guys, I roll like garbage usually. Here's hoping.
Would this be your only natural 20?
That didn't include your +5. Okay.
Well, I put the 5 there, so I don't know why.
Yeah, that was weird. Let me look at your character.
Well,
sheet
I
real
guess
quick.
it must have. It must have included it. What a shame. Oh well.
Where are you? Hold on.
It definitely didn't include it
Yeah,
for some reason.
Yeah, it
One
says,
1 second. I just roll 20 slow when I click on things.
it says +5.
Diplomacy. That's weird. Click it again. Okay, there you go.
Can we use
All right,
that one?
worked.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one
that
worked.
one worked.
Yeah, because it wasn't correct before. I think roll 20 wasn't caught up yet. All right, so because it probably took a second to you probably added it and clicked before it registered. So would you like to luck your 24? Want to get to that sweet? Okay, there you go. All right, he's like, yep. Cool.
Fucking immediate.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Oh, cool. I'm so sorry. I just noticed that something was dropped a little bit earlier. Cool. I will add that in. Probably won't be able to fit it this session, next session. Cool. So you say that I'm not a child anymore. While I'm able to learn more information, it'd be better if I had more information to work off of. He kind of he's still looking kind of off to the side, holding onto his stick. He nods and says, "Indeed, you're not, Nathan. Indeed, you're not. You are a bright young man and have done much for our people. I think more than maybe you even understand." Nathan, there's something that was discovered, not by myself or any of the current elders, but actually very recently by one of the elders before, actually, only one generation past. My mentor, when I was young, the one that sponsored for me to take his seat. Me to take her seat. She was not originally of our tribe. She spent much of her time growing up in the nation of Paradel. Out there, she worshipped a very different faith than ours, where she came to discover our faith. I imagine in your travels, both with our people and since, you've learned of Lady Aravel, correct?
Nod.
Lady Aravel is a powerful goddess, but she's not a goddess like the ones that we worship. She's not a goddess from the plains where we have our companions, where we draw our power, or where our souls are meant to go. She comes from a different place in the cosmos. As far as I can understand, there is another type of worlds beyond the ones that we understand, beyond this one. To the degree how different they are, I honestly wouldn't know. I could not understand these things. Maybe others could describe it better, but what I can tell you is what she gleaned. She came to discover something important in her world. She worshipped Lady Aravel, but in her faith, she realized that there are those in there that worship more than just Aravel, but a union between Aravel and another. You, of course, know the goddess Kraleen. She is a goddess close to your own hearts. Granted, you are not quite as passionate as a typical follower of Kraleen might be, but you certainly burn hot when the moment is right. She discovered in her years one faith, then both, then joining us, becoming an elder, and then communing for the course of the last few years of her life with the spirits beyond. That apparently this other place, these other planes, they do draw souls from this world, but not the way that ours do. Ours are meant to go. We are born with a predetermined location to settle into. But apparently, these other gods barter with the gods of the planes we're predetermined to. They're given the right to speak to coax and direct the souls linked to their plane, to try to draw them into their own plane. Or in their plane, they have far fewer, and so each soul has far greater power. Have you ever come across such a person who has a soul that seems to be linked to not one of the planes that you and I have always known to worship, or perhaps a different one elsewhere?
Perhaps two.
These people, they were born to, let's say, you've noticed in their hearts the fire that burns, or the stubbornness of the earth, or whatever it might be. That god, in theory, according to her understanding, spoke with another god at one point and allowed this other god to coax them, to bring them to this other world. It's apparently an exchange, an understanding between these gods, how souls flow from one type of world to another. It's not necessarily bad for the people. leave, they're either going where they want to. It certainly would be good for the gods involved. This disruption that I'm talking about, it seems to disrupt that flow. It seems like the souls that go to where they are meant to at birth are not flowing to the other planes. It is causing a constipation going that direction. This will hurt those other gods, and I fear will cause them to retaliate. This all started just a few months ago, and while a few months seem like no time in the eternity of the planes, apparently it's done some incredible harm.
I feel as though with this information, I can perhaps discover what it is exactly happening if I talk to just a few people that I hold close to my heart.
Try not to share if you need not.
Exactly.
Nathan, I'm trusting you with this knowledge, just as she trusted me. Though, she gave it to me after I took the mantle, before she died. I'm giving it to you early because I think times for breaking traditions, here and there, small ones, might help to save our traditions forevermore. There's a balance that must be maintained, even if it seems strange or alien to us.
I would nod and just say, yes, the balance is key.
He'll actually place a hand out, like off of his staff and onto like one of your hands or whatever that's there, and say, "Be well, Nathan. I'll be with the people, of course, and we will find whatever motes these are." Apparently, this Elliot has already drawn a map in his drunkenness to the one of fire, so I imagine two of the elders are going to be a bit spry in their step to get there. And then we will see what we can discover. Apparently, there was another one to Earth. I'm excited. I feel that I might be passing sometime in the future. The idea of maybe passing somewhere where the planes are linked closely might be a good thing for me. Perhaps I will also leave an impact in that plane and can return as an aid to our people. As I told you, our people have for generations.
I'm on to that.
And then with that, he'll be like, "Now, please, my joints are weary and standing hurts. Help it, old man."
You would help him.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
Oh.
Yeah, and he'll kind of go back to rejoin the people. Walking will, I imagine, lubricate the joints as I go. The more you walk, the easier it gets, right? And you can kind of from that point fuck off with Elliot and head back west. Later on that day, you go walking into the same day that they had that conversation with the general. You're able to come walking into the keep with Elliot. Elliot, of course, has like some garb and stuff like that, like gifts from like friends of yours, and he's like proudly has it too. He's like so excited because like whereas he might be like wearing it as like an honorable thing for now. Well, he's like wearing exactly, but as soon as he get back to like, because he's starting to build up his own place, these things are gonna go like behind like glass covered shelves and stuff like that. It's actually gonna be it's like almost like a little museum for him. He's so excited. So, anyways, go ahead. You come walking back into the keep, and of course, whatever.
I would just immediately look for any of the chosen.
The first one you come across is roll a D3. We already know who number 1 is, and we know who number 2 is because he's a shit.
I was waiting for that. The second you said we know who number 1 is, I'm like, and who's the shit?
About Messi.
And we know who number 3 is because he's clearly the last one to join the group. So,
So I come across Ian, and I'm like, well, that was pleasant. My people are arriving to this land shortly.
Good. I'm glad that went well. I look forward to meeting them.
Yes, they look forward to meeting you as well, and it seems as though they'll be helping us with the moats.
Good. News on that. The positive and negative moats are in the same place, and they are in the basement.
Okay, that's a discovery.
Yeah, the angel walked into, I believe, the negative plane while we were in the room. It was really fascinating.
Maybe he came from the positive plane when I first. I don't know.
You saw him appear last time. Where did he appear?
Down below, in the basement.
Okay, I think it's quite likely it was probably the same place. We tested, there was a positive spike in my positive spells and a spike in Rayron's negative spell as well in that spot. So there's so much to do with that. I think Elliot's going to have a fit. It's going to be great.
Well, it's a good thing he got to relax before having this fit.
Oh, he's that worn out, is he?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Perhaps we should go let the other two chosen know that my people are almost here.
Yes, probably a good idea. And then go off.
Call to council! Do you want the whole council there or just the chosen with you? And do you want Elliot or no?
I would say the chosen, Elliot, and Kithel.
Of course, you like Kithel.
Everyone loves Kithel.
Speaking to you, of course, in Primordial.
I'm so happy that you always involve me in these things. I'm glad that we've been able to bond such a great friendship. You know what? When the bar opens, before we officially do the grand opening, you will be more than welcome to come in and drink your fullest drink. We will get you drunk.
And it's just like staring like, I recognize that inflection. That's it. He can't get words or anything, but he's like, oh, that's... No, almost.
I think he wants to club him.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're like talking with like rocks in our mouth.
He finishes up with,
I can't stand being stone sober all the time.
Nathan bows his head to that in shame. In shame.
Oh. Anyways, go ahead. You call it to the meeting.
Yep. I would just say, well, first and foremost, Elliot and I are back from the trip to go meet with my people.
I have to pee really quickly. I'll let you get started with filling them in because I don't think Elliot has to talk at first. So go ahead.
Elliot, go ahead and tell them. I've met with them, and they seem to want to help us with the moats.
Oh, in what way?
I think we are keen to speaking with elementals and understanding them quite well. I think one with translations, and two with maybe figuring out exactly why they were bound in the first place.
That would be good. I presume your people won't be foolish enough to attempt to free these creatures without fully knowing repercussions.
Correct. They aren't going to just free them for the sake of freeing them.
I understand that you and your people care for them, but I don't want to risk the lives of our people until we know.
I understand that.
Well, then I suppose we'll have many more Nathans running around the place.
Yes, I think they might actually work wonders with helping me secure the borders. As you know, I have no problem being outside. I actually prefer it. And with more people to scout and to maintain the borders, I think that they could be a big help.
I love the idea of like enemy nation coming to try and spy on us, and because they're like, "This is normal nation. It's fine." The army's like crap at like watching the borders. It's just, they don't see the druids. The many druids.
There's many druids.
Like 6 druids on a hill. And
That bird wasn't a bird.
Sheep just there.
That's the best border patrol. Like, you don't know who's what. That bush, I don't trust it. Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. Also, the elders of my clan would probably want to speak with the three of you.
Of course, they would be honored guests.
I do recommend, while being direct with them, to also be gentle.
You have earned my respect, Nathan. By proxy, they have it as well.
He'll nod to that. Kithel, I would like you there as well.
It would be my honor. Oh, sorry, in common. It would be my honor.
How long does it take to learn Primordial?
I could teach it to you and with just a spell.
Permanently?
No.
Elliot's response is, well, it depends on the keenness of the individual trying to learn the language. You see,
I cast share language on everyone that I can.
Okay.
We all just start talking.
And then he says, and then Elliot says in Primordial, he just says, or of course we could always do that.
So it's decided. We'll have a meeting held probably here. I will discuss it with the elders whether they prefer elsewhere. Maybe you coming to them would be a great gesture. But either way, we'll have a meeting. And some of these druids, while they're with me, will help me fortify the borders and report.
If I may, your
Yes.
people are more magically inclined than the average traveler through Idir. Perhaps meeting them, whatever moats they happen to be at right now or soon, would be a good idea. Inviting them here, of course, as a kind gesture, welcome them into your home. But we're also more closely watched here than something outside of our borders. That might not necessarily be a bad thing.
I also, after this meeting, talking about after this, not immediately as the now, but allowing them to come in and trade while the trade is bustling as it is now might also benefit both us and them with, I'm sure they have a lot of goods that we would be pressed to come by otherwise, and right now trade seems to be very interesting.
Yeah, we guys want to take advantage of that sometime real soon.
I have a list of things I want to look for after this session. I'll get
yeah.
You want to take care. I thought we'd have to wait for kingdom rolls to economy roll the thing.
Yeah, that's fine because that's going to be incorporated. So more or less next session we're most likely doing kingdom rolls. So it's important that like before next session you guys get like shopping ideas prepared.
Yeah.
Because like right now a lot more stuff than is typically available is actually available, and the prices are, because an angel being here has led to some awesome trade happening around. So anyways, go ahead.
I would look at Ian and actually say, Ilan, sorry, that's what I meant. Ilan. I would say, well, also, I think the elders will want to speak to you specifically, just to learn a bit more about this positive energy you're so inclined to have.
Of course, and I'll tell them everything I know.
Appreciate that. And you too. He looks over. I don't think they have any use for salt, but perhaps for negative energy.
Are you talking to me or Rayron?
I was talking to Rayron, but like
joking at you at the same time. Yeah.
I'm not sure what I would have to tell them.
I'm sure combining minds with them, conversing about the topic, maybe new ideas can be formed.
I suppose I could do that.
They have a better understanding of the planes than I ever have. Well, when should we travel?
I see no reason not to set off whenever your people arrive at the nearest moat.
That'll literally be like tomorrow, but tomorrow's also when Ilan's Ascension is, so you might want to wait until the day after that, so 2 days from now.
But then Ilan's going with Jaeger.
Well, that can hold off like a day.
Yeah, there's just people dying from undead, you know.
Okay, well, I can either talk to them before or after.
Well, we can also have your RP with Jaeger. Maybe you don't necessarily have to go at that point, right? So
maybe I can join them later because an army's slower than a person. So
true enough. Yep. So especially if somebody casts Wind at back on you before you're like, get out of here, buddy. Or call it to your bird, Falcor, and maybe So anyways, just don't fall off the back. So you guys can of course head out, like you said. Tomorrow you have your ascension. Day after that you'll go. Next week we'll have our RP Tesh with you. We'll kind of open up with that happening. You and what's his fuck. Then we'll move on to your actual ascension, and then we'll move on to you guys actually heading over to speak with the people. But there's something important to note about next week, William.
Yeah, I won't be here.
Why not?
Because I've spent my time with the Kingmaker crew, and I eventually have to work my way through all the different groups, so it's about time I see some new faces.
So what you're saying is that you're leaving this campaign?
I'm saying I'm making a pragmatic decision.
Excuse me? The pragmatic decision is to stay and help us. Out of all the campaigns, we have more problems than all of them combined.
Which is why I created this nice character that fits perfectly into the role that you need.
You did help
Yeah,
us.
yeah, that's true.
I just don't want you to go well. It's been nice having you here with us.
Yeah.
It has been nice.
Yeah, all those sessions where he just sat there and did nothing. He's like, thanks, guys. I'm a guest on your show, and you just make me watch. I could have done that with no pants on.
You're right.
To be fair, he probably still has no pants.
It would have been good if our DM had facilitated all our players playing.
It's almost if even in one of those, the worst offender, a player actually said, you can go to Nathan now. And he was like, nah.
Yeah. So anyways, we go ahead.
I'm gonna pay for that one.
Yeah, rocks fall, you die. So you guys are actually we can finish this up now. I actually have the worst day off of the week this week. I have 2 days off from work. Now I still have family. And my wife actually has to, coincidentally, because of this happening, she actually has to go into work for something important too. So it kind of worked out. But we can probably, for whoever can stick around for another, say, 10 minutes, record a quick after show for this. And then we'll kind of, we'll skedaddle. So why don't we do our heart out of here so we can possibly do a quick after show, and then we'll, yeah. And then hopefully he's lost initiative tonight. As far as I understand, there is one, but, you know, I'm only one of the people. So let's see what happens with the rest. Yeah, let's do our outro. Neil, what are you doing in just a couple of hours?
Hey, guys, I'm Neil, or at Nakai, or at Nakai _ on Twitter. You can find me here, or on Twitter, or on the Discord, or on twitch.tv/OllieRant for one of the final installments.
I think I just pressed, I can't end it. I just caused a commercial to happen for non... By accident, that just happened. I clicked the wrong button. I was trying to prep a raid. Oh, well, keep going.
God.
My God.
So you can find me on twitch.tv/OllieRant for a Yavaskir 5e game, which is another homebrew game in a different world, where I play a cleric who is a very good boy.
Thank you. It's right next to the raid button. I was like, no! And I tried to unclick. I can't end it. So, yep.
You're such a monster, Scott.
Sorry. Tesh, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Tesh of the Tesh Tube on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on Twitter for cute animal gifs. and now a lot of TikTok memes. You should follow me on Twitch for RPGs, and the Borderlands expansion is coming up soon. Remnant from the Ashes expansion is coming up soon, and at some point I want to start a Terraria playthrough in Master Mode. So follow me for that.
Awesome. William, what I've seen you posting a lot of videos lately. Someone's getting in a groove of it.
Yeah, I'm back to weekly videos, although this week I didn't have a video because I fractured my ankle, so dealing with that. But be back to weekly videos starting Monday.
Fractured ankle, go for a run.
But I did actually, and I went for an 11-mile bike ride, and then another 11-mile bike ride, and then an 11-mile walk with a fractured ankle. So,
I forgot. I jokingly removed you as a mod. Let me get that back because it didn't let you post that link.
How dare you, sir?
Hold on. Sorry.
Uncle.
There you go. You're good now.
Give me back my sword, huh?
Thank you. All right. So you can find me at youtube.com/by the way. I'm putting it into chat now so you can look. If you guys want to go check out my content, tell me that you like it because it's amazing, or subscribe, that'd be awesome. It's basically me on my weight loss journey. So far, since I started 3.5 weeks ago, I am down 20 pounds. So that's been pretty awesome, and I'm going to continue getting smaller.
Awesome. Good for you. You disappear. And with the campaign, so is the weight. Jake.
Yeah, Jake, you can find me and my wonderful dog Percy here every Wednesday.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Other than that, on the Discord.
On the Discord. And of course, we are going to go Ray Jesse Cox. We love Jesse Cox from way back when he was on Lost Initiative playing Werbo the Wookiee.
He always forgets that word. Don't mind Myson. Please just go ahead and make sure you're in the raid. Either sit there or say something in chat. If you're looking for something to say when we raid, you can just spam the word Werbo.
WIRBO, WIRBO, let's go Werbo. This is ridiculous. We need to end this now. Okay?
Yes.
Let's just go.